Hey friends, it's Ruben with Hi-Fi MIDI. Hopefully you can hear this. I think I got everything right this time. I'm learning more about OBS, but there's still that doubt in the back of my mind. But thank you for joining me. I see that a few people are watching right now. Leave a comment below, give a shout out so I can see your name. Hey guys, this is my second video in my beginner piano lessons series. Last week, I taught you how to play C major, F major, and G major with their respective inversions. But I want to, before I go on with the lesson, I want to review what I taught. I do this with all my students. I don't just go on to the next thing. I want to make sure that you master these things or that whatever you learned in the last lesson is still in your mind. But before I do that, one good habit that I forgot to talk about is that whenever you play piano, you always want to warm up your hands. It's terrible playing piano with cold hands. Right now, my office is pretty cool. It's about 70 to 71 degrees in here, but my hands feel really cold. So this is one exercise I do with my students. You tighten your hands like this and you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You want to do that about twice. And then the next one I like to do is just simply massage your hands and your fingers. Create some heat. Get some blood flowing in there. Get those hands nice and loose. By the way, sorry, this is just for comedic purposes. This is Beethoven Bear and Mozart Mouse. I use these for the kids that I teach, not for adults. Anyway, they're just here to support me. They're here to support you, to let you know that you can do this, you can learn. So anyway, to review what we learned last week, I said that there are obviously white and black keys on the piano, but the black keys serve as sort of a guide to get you to the other notes. You see a pattern of 2 black notes, 3 black notes. I said that the landmark note that you have to learn is middle C. You can find middle C by finding the 2 black notes in the middle of the piano and then playing the white note to the left of it. So here's C. All right. Another thing of note is that there are 7 letter notes on a piano, starting with A. So this is C. Go back 2 notes, and that's A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then we go back to A. And then we play this cycle until the very end of the instrument. Another thing I mentioned was that when you learn a letter, C, it's a good practice to find all the C's on the piano. So we have a C here, because it's on the left side of the 2 black keys. A C here, C here. And you can do that with the other notes as well. So a chord is a note with 3 or more notes played at the same time. So C major, we learned, was C, E, and G. Before I forget, just as a reminder, your fingers have numbers assigned to them. Your thumbs are 1, index is 2, middle finger is 3, ring finger is 4, and pinkies are 5. So C major is C, E, and G. F major starts right here to the left of the group of 3 black keys. And G major. So that's called root position. Root position means that the letter that the chord is named after is the first note played, or the bottom note, I should say. So C major, root position would be C on the bottom. That's the leftmost note. First inversion. Inversions are when you change the order of the notes. So C major is C, E, G. If you change the order of that, for example, E, G, C, it's still C major chord, but it's in first inversion. So the third of the chord is in the bottom. And then second inversion is when the fifth of the chord, which would be G, is in the bottom. Same goes for F major. F major in root position, first inversion, second inversion. Then G major, root position, first inversion, and second inversion. If you forgot a lot of that, you can go back and watch the first video. Anyway, there's a reason that I grouped those notes together, those chords together, C, F, and G major. If I didn't mention in the last video, I'll mention it now. If you probably noticed, those chords in root position have the exact same shape. They're all white, and you play it with the first, third, and fifth finger. And if you hold that hand position and move it over, you'll land on the right notes for that chord. F major, G major. Now, as you can see in the title of the video, I'm going to teach you D major, E major, and A major chords. The reason I grouped those together is because these notes have a same exact shape as well. So we're going to find D. And an easy way to find D is to find C. We already know where middle C is. Well, the keys follow the alphabet, so C, D comes after C. We're going to start right here. Let our fingers rest naturally on the consecutive keys. However, our third finger is going to raise up to the first black note in the group of three. That's called F sharp. And I'll go over sharps and flats later. And our fifth finger is going to hit A. This is a D major chord. So I'll point to the notes again. D, F sharp, A. D, F sharp, A. Play that a few times, just to get a feel for it. Now, the next one is going to be easy because all we're going to do is shift all our fingers right one note. So just lock your hand in that position and you just need to move it to the right. And you have an E major chord. So E major is made up of E, G sharp, and B. E, G sharp, B. So if you're playing along with me, you should hear those exact same tones. Let's go back to D major. So shift back like this. Go back to E major. I encourage you to practice going back and forth between these two chords. You might mess up. Maybe one finger might drift off a little bit. But it's good to correct yourself. And those mistakes are okay because they're going to make you a better player. But it's good to correct yourself and memorize the feeling of that shape. All right, let's go back to D major. So the last note in the D major chord, so D is D, F sharp, and A. The last chord that we're gonna learn how to play is A major. So our thumb, our first finger, is going to end up right here on that A. And let's move over there. So A, C sharp, and E. Those are the notes that make up the A major chord. A, C sharp, E. I don't really like the sound of chords in root position as you get higher on the keyboard. So we can move it over here. So we have A, find your lower A. It's going to be 2 notes below middle C. And then play the first black key in the group of 2 blacks. And then E. I like that sound a lot better. So let's play D again. Let's play D major 4 times, and then E major 4 times, and then A major 4 times. Ready, and go. Shift over. And then A major. One more time. Let's start on A major. Play that 4 times. Move to D major 4 times, and then E major 4 times, and then hold A. Ready, and go. D major. E major. And A major. Cool. Now that we've learned those chords in root position, remember the fingering is 1, 3, and 5 for those. However, when we start playing inversions, we're going to use different fingers because it's awkward if you don't use the right fingers. So D major, D, F sharp, and A. In first inversion, the F sharp, since it's the third of the chord, F sharp is going to be our lowest note. So our thumb, our first finger, is going to be on F sharp. Our second finger is going to be on A. A is between the second and third black key. And then our pinky, or our fifth finger, is going to land on D. So play that about 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. As you can probably guess, D major in first inversion is the same shape as E major in first inversion. So all you have to do is lift up your fingers, keep your hand still, and move it over to the right. And that's E major in first inversion. D major in first inversion. E major in first inversion. Now, I don't know how easy this is for you to keep your hand in the same position, but if you lift it up and move your thumb, first finger all the way to this C sharp, you should land on A major in first inversion. That's C sharp, E, A. Remember that A in root position is A, C sharp, E, so they use the same notes. This is going to be a lot more difficult, so I encourage you to rewatch this video and do this exercise. So we're going to do four A majors in first inversion to D in first inversion, and then E, and then back to A. Each chord being played 4 times. Ready, and go. Move. That's D major, E major, A major. Good. Now next, we're going to play A major in second inversion, meaning that the fifth of the chord is on the bottom. So what we're going to do is essentially move these notes up here. So our first finger is going to start on E. So that's E. We still need A and C sharp. What I like to do, and this you don't have to do it this way, there's several ways to do it, is I like to play A with my second finger. So you're going to widen your hand a little bit. And then your fourth finger is going to play C sharp, the first of the group of 2 black notes. So that's A major in second inversion. Again, once again, that's E, A, C sharp. So let's go to D major in second inversion. So here's D major. Our first finger is going to start on A. We're going to widen our first two fingers like this again. And our fourth finger is going to hit that F sharp. Let's practice moving from A major in second inversion to D major in second inversion. Now, when you're playing, I should note that when you're playing, you're probably not going to switch chords like this. The purpose of inversions, one of the purposes, is to facilitate moving from one chord to another. For example, if I'm in A major, let's say like this, in root position, and I want to move to D major, instead of hopping all the way over here, I can simply keep my thumb on A and then move these other fingers to D and F sharp to complete the D major chord. But for the purpose of landing on those notes accurately, let's practice moving from A in second inversion to D in second inversion, and then to E. D to E is going to be easier because you're going to keep your fingers in that position, or you're not going to have a long way to travel. So A 4 times, D 4 times, E 4 times, and then back to A. 1, 2, ready, go. One more time. Awesome. So just to review, here is A major. Let's, you know what, if you can practice this with me, that'd be great. Start on A major in root position. So A, C sharp, E. We're going to practice moving from A in root position to A in first inversion. This might be a little challenging, but it's okay if you mess up. I encourage you to scratch that. When you're moving from chord to chord, from inversion to inversion, or root position to first inversion, I should say, you want to map out where your fingers are going to move. So right now I have 1, 3, and 5. When I move to first inversion, my thumb's going to move up here to C sharp. So practice that movement. And then my second finger, which is not being used in root position, is going to move to that E. And then my fifth finger is going to make the biggest movement all the way to that A. By the way, based on comments, if you guys are still watching, if you're practicing right now, or if you're watching right now, how many of you are in front of a piano practicing this? I hope all of you, or most of you, are. That'd be great if you were following along like this. I think I'll leave this part for later, the moving from position to position. this might be a little more advanced. However, as I stated in the last video, one of the purposes for inversion is to make it easier to go from one chord to another. So if I'm in first inversion, A major first inversion, D major is going to be very close to me. D major in root position. So my first finger will move to that D. My second finger will not play anymore, but I'll play that F sharp, and my fifth finger is already on A. So A in first inversion can move easily to D major in root position. So let's practice that together. We'll play A 4 times and then D. So C sharp, E, A. 1, 2, 3, go. And back. D major. Then move to E major in root position. Back to D. And back to A. Hi Kelly, what happened to your keyboard? I think the longest I've gone without playing piano was maybe 3 weeks. Yeah, that sucks. I would never want to leave my instrument. And thank you very much for your comment, by the way. Now let's play A in first inversion. Second inversion. So that means that the E is on the bottom. Widen your hand. Your second finger is going to be on A, and your fourth finger is going to be on C sharp. So we're going to play from A, and we're going to move to E in root position. A in second inversion, E in root position. If you notice, A major and E major share one common tone, and that's E. So that part is going to stay anchored right there. So A is going to move to E, G sharp, B. This is going to be a little tricky because in second inversion, I'm using fingers 1, 2, and 4. But in E major, I'm using fingers 1, 3, and 5. So you'll have to practice making that movement. Let's play A 4 times and E 4 times. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. D major and go. E major. Sorry, I messed up a little bit right there because I was reading the comments as I was playing, and I played D major with finger 1, 2, and I think 5, which is okay, but it's a little weird. It feels weird. So I encourage you when you're on your own, when you're practicing outside of this live stream, to try to transition to those other notes as quickly as possible. It's going to feel very frustrating at first because your fingers are probably not going to land on the right notes. But I promise you, with repetition and with practice, it's going to become more natural, just like learning a language. It's usually awkward at first. You might have a very strong accent, but eventually you train your muscles to move a certain way, and you stop having to think about it after a while. Now, I haven't talked much about the left hand. So make sure that you train your left hand how to play those chords as well. The fingering's not going to be the same. I forgot to mention that. So in first inversion, I have 1, 3, and 5, which is the same as over here. However, if I play A major in second inversion, on my right hand I'm playing 1, 2, and 5, but on my left hand I might play 1, 2, and 4, or 1, 3, and 5. It's different because of the fingers are the opposite on the left hand. However, when you're playing, unless you're playing a classical piece or you're doing a roll, you're not going to play chords with your left hand. It just doesn't sound right all the time, unless you're playing up here. The left hand is usually reserved for just the bass notes, depending on the style of music. Sometimes you'll add a little fifth in there. For example, A major. I won't play that third in there, C sharp. Doesn't always sound good. And it can start sounding really muddy. However, if I take it out, start sounding a little. Usually it just beefs it up a little bit. So if you do practice with your left hand, either play the first note of the chord, start off simple like that, add a fifth if you want. It's not very necessary, but try, as you get lower, try to avoid that third. That doesn't sound too bad right now, but as I go lower, let's say E major. That doesn't sound that great. Well, friends, thank you for watching. By the way, there's this little I hate doing this. There's this little money sign right here below the chat. It's if you want to support my channel, you can click that. Send me $1, send me 100. It's up to you. It does cost money to rent this studio, and I want to keep providing these types of videos. I love doing it, but I'm hoping that I could quit my day job and do this full time. If you want to send something my way, there's a PayPal link, or you can send me money through YouTube. I'd appreciate it greatly. Come back next week. I'm going to try my absolute best to give a third lesson at 5:30 on the dot. But thanks for watching, and I really appreciate your support. Take care.